Coming to you live from the Mediaplex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of Clair College Journalism.
Good evening, I'm Kenneth Bullock, and you're watching Mediaplex News Now. The Windsor Police Service held its current board's last meeting yesterday. Sean Frame reports.
Windsor Police Services held the current board's last meeting on November 17th. Outgoing Mayor Eddie Francis and Ward 6 Councillor Joanne Gignac attended their last meeting on the board. Windsor Police Chief Al Frederick shared some kind words on the board's departure, and a cake was also provided with the names of the outgoing members. Prior to their kind farewells, business was to be attended. The WPS received a check from the Old Riverside Town Center BIA. Crime statistics were also presented with more decreases for 2014. Police Chief Al Frederick says due to the recent string of arsons in the Walkerville area, the police service has a task force specifically for investigating these arsons.
Anytime there's a fire, there's potential for injury and, of course, property loss. So the risk to our community is great. Anytime there's an arson, especially, that's something that obviously can be avoided. So it's something where we're taking special consideration in our investigation to get some positive results.
Chief of Operations Vincent Power says there has been no significant increases of crime in the area.
We continue some of our initiatives in our neighborhoods and some of our crime prevention initiatives, including youth crime, which you heard about today, and we continue to work with our youth, and obviously I'm pleased with that, and we do see a downward trend with youth crime.
Power said there is no specific crimes that they see rise in the winter months, but they definitely will see an increase in traffic collisions during the season. I'm Sean Frame, Mediaplex News Now.
Time to go out to the corner of University and Victoria for an early check on the weather with our specialist, Jonathan Martin. How's it looking, Jonathan?
Thank you, Kenneth. Man, oh man, is it ever cold out here. With a high of -7 and a low of -16, you're probably going to want to stick around indoors. And if the temperature is not enough of an incentive for you, we are expecting winds up to 53 kilometers an hour. Keep watching for the next few minutes, and I will have your full 3-day forecast coming up. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, John. Windsorites are donating their coats. As Taylor Bush reports, if you missed out, you may still have time.
Though the Coats for Kids campaign has passed, volunteers say residents can still receive new coats through the winter.
There's only a few sites that will have coats during the winter, but we'll try to accommodate people that are coming into the, country late or whatever. And if there's any more coats that people want to donate, call the Unemployed Help Center to let them know, so we have selection for the people.
Debbie Desjardins has been the coordinator of Coats for Kids for the past 5 years. She said there is still a great need for programs like this in Windsor.
If you look at some of the people that we've got a lot of new immigrants that have come to Canada that have never seen snow, so they're trying to get prepared because they've come here without a jacket, and they've probably already found that the weather compared to what they've lived in is cooler, so they're already needing something warm to put on.
Volunteers say the easiest way to get a new coat this winter is to call the Unemployed Help Center.
It's 944-4900. And they will be able to direct you to who still might have coats.
Reporting for Mediaplex News Now, I'm Taylor Bush.
We have a special guest in studio today. Sean Frame welcomes author and motivational speaker Kit McCann.
I'm here with Kit McCann, the creator of Book Expo. Kit, can you tell us a bit about Book Expo?
Absolutely, thank you, Sean. The Book Expo was created because we have over 300 authors in this area. And most people have no clue, and I honestly didn't have a clue either until I started doing this Book Expo. And then once I realized that, I said, hey, we've got to do something about this to gain some exposure for us local authors, because there really isn't any events for us to do or for people to meet us. So we created it, and this is the 3rd year going, and we have over 60 authors, and I've brought a few samples of some of the books for people to see. So here's a few for you guys. And stacks of them here. And more stacks here. So these are just some of the books you can see at the Book Expo. And we have a number of events going on, a number of children's events. Santa Claus is going to be there. There'll be a whole bunch of children's readings. And there'll also be a youth speaker speaking, Ashley Bergeron. and a unique opportunity to see 3 generations in one family at the Book Expo. We have Bud LaPrance, Kathleen and Samantha Westgate, and then we also have 2 of Canada's most well-known automotive historians, James C. Mays and Bill T. Shirk will be there as well. An opportunity to meet 60-plus local authors, opportunity to ask about how you could possibly write your own book if you'd like to, and meet the local authors and support us. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Kit. Back to you, Kenny.
Thank you, Sean. It was a night of fun and laughter at the Walkerville Brewery. Justin Thompson tells us more.
What do you get when you put Windsor Essex Pride Fest and 6 comedians in a brewery? Fruit punch. About 150 people showed up for a night of comedy at the Walkerville Brewery. The event was put on by Windsor Essex Pride Fest and featured Toronto comedians Aisha Alpha, Paul Hutchison, and Adrienne Fish. Local comedians Freddie Dolly, Dave Squeaky Wheels, and Mel Lucier also performed. Event organizer Mel Lucier said, "The goal of Fruit Punch is to provide for the LGBTQ community."
Any money we make goes back into the community. It supports the festival. It supports education. Some of our profits go back into, GSAs and supporting the kids too. So, you know what? I don't even know. Our goal is to always break even so we can keep, providing events and let the community get together.
Toronto comedian Paul Hutchison is no stranger to Windsor.
It's nice to come back, especially because I went to school here, and there was very limited queer resources. So it's nice to come back and kind of go like, wow, the community's grown so much, and it's great to come out and see so many people wanting to see queer comedy.
Windsor Essex Pride Fest is hoping to make Fruit Punch an annual event. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Justin Thompson.
In this edition of Bullseye, I talk about the art of anime in the year of 2014. Hello, I'm Kenneth Bullock. And this is Bullseye. In this week's edition, I will be talking about some of the popular anime released in the year of 2014. For those of you who are not familiar with anime, it is animation which is created in Japan. Anime is different from North American animation. Notable differences are animation style, crazy plots, and obviously Japanese dialogue. Akame ga Kill, a show about a group of assassins working for a revolutionary army. Their goal is to overthrow a city run by a greedy minister who manipulates its child king into ordering evil deeds. The show would be rated R here in Canada due to some gruesome scenes and questionable dialogue. Warning, don't get attached to any of the main characters, because they do die. Sword Art Online 2 takes place after the events of the last series, which was based in a virtual reality, multiplayer, role-playing game with the same name as the series. The catch, if you die in the game, you die in the real world. After the events of the first season, the main hero, Kirito, is hired by a government agency to venture into a new game to apprehend a criminal named Death Gun, who has the ability to kill people in-game. However, there is more to this ability than meets the eye. I'm Kenneth Bullock, and this has been Bullseye. Disclaimer, the following clips were used from the anime series Akame ga Kill and Sword Art Online 2. The music played was Skyreach by Sora Amamiya and Ignite from the Sword Art Online 2 soundtrack. Now it's time for the British Beat, where our UK correspondent and journalism graduate, Sean Preble, reports from the University of Kent.
Welcome back to the University of Kent, here in Gillingham in the United Kingdom. Now for this edition of British Beat, I thought instead of sitting behind the desk and telling you about the United Kingdom, I would give you a tour of the University of Kent. And I thought what better place to start than here in the Centre for Journalism. Now, as you can see, we have state-of-the-art equipment, including a radio studio, computers for every student, and a TV studio downstairs. So now, since it is lunchtime, I thought, how about we head over to the Rochester building to get some food? So this is the Rochester building. It's a great place to come during lunch hour or any breaks you have to grab a bite to eat, because it has a really wonderful cafe called the No. 1 Bistro. And as you can see, there's many different selections. You have anything from lasagna to toasties to pretty much anything you can think of, including fries or chicken. And you have a great place where you can also just enjoy each other's company and just talk and unwind between classes. Now, as you can see behind me, there's also a lot of dockyards, and this used to be an old naval dockyard called the HMS Pembroke. Now, what the University of Kent has done has tried to really keep a lot of the architecture and the history that this area provides, incorporating it into its buildings and, as I mentioned, into the Drill Hall Library. So let's go take a look at the Drill Hall Library. Can't guarantee we'll be able to film inside, but I can at least show you that one of the largest buildings in the UK. This is the Drill Hall Library, and as I mentioned before, it's one of the largest buildings in the United Kingdom, or at least by length. Now, during the wars, it was used often as a temporary overflow dormitory, and that's how it was being used in World War I, when Germany launched one of its first nighttime raids. 2 bombs hit the Drill Hall Library, resulting in the all-glass ceiling to break apart, and as you can imagine, caused quite a bit of damage. Now, what happened was 135 soldiers also died in this nighttime raid, including Canadians. When I mentioned before that the University of Kent tried to keep the history alive of this old dockyard, it includes a post that was hit by the bombs, as well as commemorations for many of the soldiers who died here, including Archibald Hay, who a cafe was named in honor of. I'm Sean Preble, reporting from the Drill Hall Library at the University of Kent in the United Kingdom. Thanks again for tuning in, and back to the Mediaplex.
On this edition of 3 Minutes With, Chelsea Leffler sat down with LaSalle Viper Nathan Veras.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Leffler, and we're spending 3 minutes with Nathan Veras, third-year defenseman for the LaSalle Vipers. So Nate, you're at the university. What are you in playing hockey? What are you taking?
I'm currently in my second year at the U for civil engineering.
How are you managing both hockey and school? What's your biggest struggle with both?
It's pretty difficult. Obviously, both are pretty time-consuming things, but I guess the biggest thing is time management. Learning to be able to control where you're spending all your time. But I can't complain at the end of the day because hockey and school are 2 things which I really like doing.
Are you going to stay playing junior B, or do you want to go up to OHL or play for the university team?
I really like where I'm at junior B right now, and hopefully if at a higher level they'd like to take me, then I'd be very welcome to that opportunity. But other than that, I have 1 more year with LaSalle, and I'm hoping to eventually play for the Lancers if I can make that spot.
What's it like playing this season with 14 less players on your team?
With what, sorry?
With 14 less players than you had last season on the team?
Oh, it is very difficult, but actually each year that I've been with LaSalle, we have had a lot of guys leave from the year before and had a lot of new guys, so it's something that some of the returning guys we're kind of used to having a lot of new faces around, but it's something that you get used to, and you get to know your teammates really well over the course of the year.
So you're the assistant captain, right?
Yep.
So what's it like right now for your team playing without the actual captain because he's injured?
It is pretty hard, and aside from his strong presence on D, he does have a very strong leadership presence in the room, and that's something that me and Corey, the other assistant, we really have to kind of step up our leadership role and lead, like you said, a lot of these young guys this year.
Thank you so much, Nate.
Yeah.
Thank you. I am Chelsea Leffler, and we just spent 3 minutes with Nathan Veras.
Another Viper, Nicholas Krashensky, dropped by the studio to talk with reporter Eric Zarens.
Hi, I'm Eric Zarens, and for 3 minutes with, we sit down with Nicholas Krashensky, defenseman for the LaSalle Vipers. Nicholas, what was your inspiration in playing hockey for the first time?
For the first time, my biggest inspiration was probably my dad. You know, he was a big hockey fan, and he always worked hard. And, you know, I like to model myself after him because, you know, he was a big inspiration for me.
Good. How long have you played hockey?
I started hockey when I was about 5 years old. That's when I first put on the skates and played house league hockey. And, you know, you just start off at that age just playing scrimmages, and that's how I started off.
Did you always want to play on defense?
I actually started off as a forward. And then throughout the years, I was one of the only guys on my team that could skate backwards. So they put me on defense, and then I loved it and stayed there ever since.
Is it tough being away from home when you're playing for the LaSalle Vipers and your hometown is Richmond Hill?
You know what? I've had a really good experience. The Vipers put me with a good family, the Akpata family, and they've been everything for me. You know, they've been very kind, and it's been a great experience for me.
All right. What other hobbies do you enjoy besides hockey?
Hobbies, I like to play the guitar. I started learning that this year, and
Nice.
that and a lot of video games. I'm a big gamer too.
A particular game that you play?
Right now, I like Call of Duty. You know, that's one of the big ones right now. It just came out, so
Nice.
I like playing that.
Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years' time?
In 10 years' time, if I'm not playing, hopefully, professional hockey, I'm in school right now for York University for kinesiology. So hopefully I can get into physiotherapy or chiropractic, one of those fields.
Is there a particular team you'd like to play on if you get drafted?
My favorite team is the Toronto Maple Leafs, so that would be a dream come true if I could play for them. But, you know, any team would be great for me.
What advice would you give to someone that wants to play pro hockey like yourself?
You got to work hard every time you're on the ice. You know, the game this day has changed, and whenever you're on the ice, you work hard. And skill, you know, as much as it is a very big component in your game, if you don't work hard, you're not going to go anywhere. Hard work beats talent any day, and that's what you need to do these days. Work hard.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Stearns for Mediaplex News Now, and we've spent 3 minutes with Nicholas Crescenzi from the LaSalle Vipers.
We have some more special guests in the studio. General Brock Public School came to check out what live television is all about. Sean?
I'm here with Brian Bartlett, a 5th grade teacher at General Brock Public School. So Brian, we saw some of these students a little earlier in the show. Can you tell us, what are all these students doing here?
Well, we're lucky enough to be here as special guests, seeing your video production. We get together every week with our video club to explore storytelling through the use of technology. We use video cameras to video things around our school, see what's going on. At the end of the month, we have a month-end review where we get to see our video, the whole school does. And all of our students have a chance to participate, use the cameras to take the pictures, to take the video, and then to edit it afterwards, put it together, and tell the story of what we're doing around General Brock School.
And how does this benefit the students?
You know, it benefits students. They understand when we talk about media literacy and we talk about communication in our curriculum. This is another way to do it through technology and through cameras, through interviewing, and it's just it's putting everything together.
And how are you guys liking the video club?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. I don't know about them, but I'm enjoying it quite a lot.
I enjoy the editing and filming about the video club. It's really fun how we can put together videos and stuff like that.
I say we are enjoying it because it's actually really interesting how a group of people can come together to accomplish something.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, General Brock Public School and Brian Bartlett. Back to you, Kenny.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Brock. I'm sure glad I didn't get the outside assignment tonight. That's Jonathan Martin's job. How are you doing out there, by the way, Jonathan?
Thank you, Kenneth. I don't know if this is showing up on camera, but I actually have ice in my mustache right now. Now, in terms of your weather, Wednesday, we can expect a high of 0 and a low of -9 with an 80% chance of snowfall. Thursday, we're going to have a high of -3 and a low of -6 with a few assorted flurries here and there. And Friday, it's going to be sunny, but still pretty cold with a high of -3 and a low of -8. Now, I would just like to remind everyone to remain safe during these cold times we're in the middle of. From the corner of University and Victoria, I'm Jonathan Martin, and I am coming right back up to you guys in that toasty, warm studio. Back to you now.
Go warm up, John. It was a road trip for the Windsor Legion cross-country team. We sent reporter Justin Thompson to take in all of the action.
The Windsor Legion Track and Field Club went to Niagara Falls for the Athletics Ontario Cross Country Championships. The club's boys' youth team captured the gold medal at the event. Miles Matthews was first on his team and finished third overall in the boys' youth 6-kilometer race despite having injuries.
Going into the race, I wasn't sure if I was going to race, first of all, but the shin, I was just sort of a game day decision sort of thing, but feeling pretty confident, hopefully going to get the win, but didn't happen today, but not too worried. The focus is in 2 weeks in Nationals.
Miles' father, Brian Matthews, was the interim coach for the event. The club's regular coaches were in Montreal attending a coaching clinic.
We know we got a real strong team. The youth boys are one of the strongest in Ontario, and we ended up winning the gold medal today, so that was really good. That was our focus coming into this meet. But our main focus is 2 weeks from now going into the Canadian Championships in Vancouver. And we want to win a team title there. We've won six years in a row. This will be our 7th year in a row if we happen to win that too.
The club will continue training in the next 2 weeks to prepare for nationals in hopes of continuing their winning tradition. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Justin Thompson.
Volleyball was featured at the St. Clair Sportsplex this past weekend, where both the men's and women's teams took on Redeemer University. Justin Prince has the story.
It was an up-and-down weekend for the St. Clair College Saints. The Saints men's and women's volleyball teams took on the Redeemer University College Royals this past Saturday, November 15th at the St. Clair Sportsplex. Both Saints teams came into their matches with 5-1 records and needed to beat the Royals to move into a good position to take the lead in the Ontario College Athletic Association West Division. But the Royals had different plans. The women's team lost their best-of-5 matchup 3-2 to a Royals squad which came in undefeated on the road. With the loss, the Saints fell back to 4th in the divisional standings, although it's still having one of its best starts in recent years. Desiree Reddy, a 4th-year member of the team, says the team played to the best of its ability to try to win the final set.
It doesn't feel too good, but we played to our best potential. We gave it all. Getting to a 5th game is really hard, so we didn't win 3 in a row, but we tried to get the 5th.
The men's team, meanwhile, had a hard-fought 3-1 victory after a long and emotional final set. During the 4th set of the match, Redeemer and St. Clair had 9 tie breaks after swapping points. The match finally ended after the Royals hit the ball into the stands. Rob Lynch, the head coach of the Saints' men's team, says his team has championship aspirations when the Sportsplex hosts the 2015 OCAA Provincial Championships early next year.
We are hosting provincials, so we're going to be there. We need to win that big game and maybe win one more, and that's our goal is to medal and to win 2 good games when we were back here at provincial time.
The focus for the Saints now turns towards their next games against the Sheridan College Bruins, away from their home on Saturday, November 22nd. But there's still a long way to go before the championships. For Mediaplex News Now, I'm Justin Prince.
On this edition of 3 Minutes With, Taylor Bush sat down with local comedian Josh Haddon.
Hi, I'm Taylor Bush, and you're watching 3 Minutes with Josh Haddon. So, Josh, what made you want to get into comedy?
Well, Taylor, it was grade 8, and we had a talent show coming up, and I'd just gotten a guitar, and all I knew was Smoke on the Water, right? So I had no talent. I tried Googling how to juggle, but it was dial-up then. Actually, it was Ask Jeeves. There's no Google.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, hey, I'll just write some original comedy material. Did that. That material would not stand the test of time. It was very terrible.
Okay, so you obviously have a lot of events coming up, and one of your events is Laughter Fundraising. It is an event to support the journalism students here at St. Clair by raising money for their awards night in May. So can you tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening that night?
Yeah, so we do host private events. We run every weekend as a comedy club, so every Friday and Saturday. But yeah, next Thursday, do you have the date, 27th? He called it fundraising. I thought he should have said we put the FU in fundraising, but he didn't like that. So yeah, St. Clair Journalism, we're having Dom Perret in town. He came first at the Border City Comedy Fest. One of the top 10 funniest comics in Canada. Yeah, it's $15. I believe a whole bunch of that goes to the program for your awards night. It's going to be a heck of a time. Dom's a great comic. There's also, I forget who else is on the show, Johnny P, John Pelledo. He's very funny.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And where can people get tickets?
Oh, thanks for asking, Taylor. You can get them here at the Mediaplex when the group's here, so when Chris Mayo or you or someone is here. You can also get them online if you just go to Comedy Quarry. That's quarry like a rock quarry. ComedyQuarry.com, WindsorComedy.com. You can get tickets on there, just laughs for fun raising. And yeah, it's pretty easy to find it, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Josh, and
Awesome.
thank you for watching. We just spent 3 minutes with Josh Haddon.
Cool. Thanks, Taylor.
Sean Frame gives us the scoop on some upcoming releases in this Geek Minute.
I'm Sean Frame, and this is your Geek Minute. The release of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire for the Nintendo 3DS is on the horizon. This is primarily a remake of the original Ruby and Sapphire with updated graphics and a few new Mega Evolutions. As a new mechanic, you will be able to fly freely through the air in Hoenn. It is set to release November 21st, and I am sure I'm not the only person who's excited. News has been popping up on the internet that the next book in the A Song of Ice and Fire series finally has a set release date. The rumor was it would be published June 2015. This has been proven false, but judging by the prior books in the series, we still have a few years to wait for the Winds of Winter. Sam Raimi is bringing the cult classic Evil Dead trilogy to television with frontman Bruce Campbell reprising his role as Ash. Raimi will be producing and writing and directing the show. It'll be a 10-part series and will premiere sometime in 2015. Bad news for people who are hoping to see Chris Pratt as Nathan Drake in Sony's Uncharted film adaptation. The actor has turned down the role as Drake. Mark Wahlberg was approached for the role as well and turned it down. Without a frontman, the movie cannot move forward. I'm Sean Frame, and this has been your Geek Minute.
A St. Clair student is giving back to those in need. Council President Sarah Ryrie recently won a 2007 Dodge Nitro in a social media contest. Soon after, Ryrie sold her car for $1,000. Using that money, she filled up her new car with donations for the college's food bank. Thanks to Sarah's and others' generous giving, St. Clair's food bank is able to feed over 100 students per month. The reindeer had the day off, but Santa still managed to fly into Windsor this weekend. Adam Lucier reports.
Santa Claus made quite the entrance this past Sunday at Devonshire Mall. St. Nick landed in style at a helicopter and was greeted by a large crowd in the Windsor Optimist Youth Band. The festivities continued indoors as Mr. and Mrs. Claus took their seat in Santa's village. The trees were up and the halls were decked as a line stretched from one end of the mall to the other. Clowns and Santa's elves kept those waiting entertained with pictures and balloon animals.
Hi, I'm Clair the Clown. I'm here at Devonshire Mall for Santa's arrival, and oh my gosh, there's like over 4,682 people here. We're making balloons to make sure people are nice and happy in line and waiting for Santa and all that fun stuff. So listen, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, see you around like a donut.
Even Mrs. Claus took the time to chat with the kids and take photos. She says it's a day she won't soon forget.
It gives you a really good heartfelt feeling on the inside. Nothing better. Just to see their faces and the magic in their eyes and to be a part of that, it's a gift. It's a true gift.
As the gates opened and the first children met Santa, it was easy to see the excitement on their faces as they told Mr. Claus their wishes. On the other hand, some kids did not share the same excitement. It may only be halfway through November, but Windsor has already had their first taste of the holiday spirit. For Mediaplex News, I'm Adam Lucier.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kenneth Bullock, and this has been Mediaplex News Now.